Ladies and gentlemen, it is the last full day of Retro Cup and Master League if you're playing Master League. But we've been playing Retro Cup, and I wanted to go over a team I played a couple days ago. I tried to play for multiple days with this team, but kind of a lot going on this weekend, so didn't really play as much as I wanted to. But it's actually just a very normal team. It's going to be Jumpluff in the lead, just regular Jumpluff with Aerial Ace, not the acrobatics. If I had maybe seen yesterday's video before, I would have gone into a more acrobatic approach for Jumpluff, but it's going to be the Aerial Ace one version, and then we are having a double normal backline with double rollout, so it's going to be Dunsparce is our safe swap, which I'm sure you've seen a ton of and played a ton of in this cup. Just a very safe mon, very easy to understand the usage of it. And then in the back, we have Lickilicky with rollout also. In the first game, I definitely had the wrong moveset, but it's okay. You'll see that coming up here in a second. But yeah, the basic idea of the line is just bait out like a fighter if there are fighters, which we have seen more of an uptick recently of fighters. And if we do bait out one of the fighters, hopefully it's not double. I've rarely seen Primeape Annihilate combo. Once we do that, then we'll be able to take it out with Jumpluff there. Another fighter that we have seen a little bit of, not as much obviously, is Hakamo-O. So we could also end up baiting that out too, which is actually really hard for those normal types. But you don't see that often, but it is very insane against like Dunsparce. All right, let's go ahead and get into the battles. All right, we have a Dragonite lead here, so it's not the worst matchup in the world for Jumpluff to face Dragonite. It's actually pretty good, but we might as well wait or use our rollout users to try to bait something out and then hopefully see some sort of advantage through this. So they end up coming in with a Ringaroo, which this matchup's pretty good. I mean, for Dunsparce, I mean, it's pretty even matchup overall. The one thing that's kind of sucky for us is they can almost always go for a Trailblaze, get ramped up, and then hit us down. But this guy decides to go for the Brutal Swing. It means that we technically would live this. The question is, do we live the Confusion afterwards? And I don't want to try to find out, so I'm going for the move to just KO this. Also, we can get a shield advantage. Anyways, we do want to be taking out Dragonite's shields. The less shields it has, the better chances we have overall. They end up taking us out, but I'm going to get a pretty big farm down here with Jumpluff, and even if they were to get to a move, I don't care that much. Now Dragonite ends up coming back in. Again, we can just Aerial Ace this. It's going to do about 50%. Plus we have Fairy Wind, which is super effective against Dragon. I do end up coming with Lickilicky, and it's like, oh, I haven't used this in probably a year. I still have Lick on it. Uh-oh. I also have Solar Beam. So things are not looking good, but at the very least, Lick is super effective, I guess, at the end of the day, and Solar Beam will one-shot. And I do get the Solar Beam off, and we do have the shield here, and I can just farm this all the way down. So I guess we get the win there. In between games, I meant to show it, but I guess I edited it out, not thinking about it. But I went in and just TM'd everything to the normal for this season on Lickilicky. So now it's got rollout. Now it's got Shadow Ball, which is where I want to be at, not Earthquake. But you can decide for yourselves. But I think Shadow Ball is the way to go with this in the back line like this. They end up trying to catch here on a Charjabug, which is great for me. I obviously have Dunsparce here. Now, we were using Clodsire, or Clodsire was being used in the last video, so if we had Clodsire, that would be amazing to come into this. You just resist everything. As far as Dunsparce is concerned, yes, we have a lead, but X-Scissor does hit us pretty hard. So yeah, we do have to be worried about what it can get to. I probably can go 2 here very easily. So I do go for 2, which is not the best timing in the world, but I do want to make sure I get a move off before they do. And then it's about whether or not I can get to a move here against the Dragon Era, which I cannot. I live a Body Slam. 2 Body Slams is pushing it. I don't think I would live... Oh, would kind of live 2. They do come in with a Dugong. We have Lickilicky in the back, but I do get this energy ball off before switching, and the rollouts are super effective here, and we don't really care too much about the damage coming through here, although one could say I could have gone for a body slam there, considering we know Icy Wind's coming, but I'm gaining a lot of energy in this matchup. If they want to let this go, they can let it go. We get the shield either way. And I know that I can outpace. So it only takes 3 rollouts to get to Body Slam, whereas for Icy Wind, it takes them 5, 4, and then 5 and 4. So we're always going to super outpace them. But yeah, we saw the switch timer was coming up. Our switch timer, it was basically the same. I did use the energy ball. That is something to note. And yeah, we basically saw that we had 10 seconds and we're able to switch. All right, Rangaroo into Jumpluff. This is pretty fine for Jumpluff. The only thing is you need to question whether or not you need the Jumpluff in the back for something else. So do they have a fighter in the back? The problem is with Rangaroo teams, it feels like there's going to be a Dunsparce in the back either way. And then I want to go for good timing here before switching, so I just throw this extra move right before. And now I'm going to switch out because I don't care if they even throw like a Trailblaze here and do a decent amount of damage, because I'm just trying to see if they have a fighter in the back. They do end up having Primeape. I have a very good energy lead here, so it is possible that I can now threaten a shield here. The question is, will I throw on bad timing? And I do. If this is not close combat, then I'm so good to take a shield here. If it is close combat, things are a little weird here, actually, because you don't just get to insta-take this out. Now, Rage Fist isn't going to KO us or anything, but we'll see how much damage the Karate Chops end up doing. They're actually not doing a lot, but I end up just trying to get this out of the way anyways. I'm very scared of there being an Annihilate, but usually, okay, it ends up being a Wall Rain. Usually Annihilate, again, teams are not usually running Annihilate and Primeape together, but it's ABB, so people could do it, and you wouldn't be too perplexed by it or anything like that. It is a Shadow Wall Rain. Technically we outpace, but they did get in before us. So I'm just kind of shielding everything, trying to throw body slams when I see 2 Powder Snows come through. Catching you here in the middle of the video. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Just take a second, hit it. All right, back to the video. It always takes them 5 to get to their move, which is why you will always outpace, because it always takes you 3, which is 9 turns, versus them taking 10 turns every time. I end up trying to catch a move here. Ends up being very bad, but they try to get to the Earthquake, and they do not make it to the Earthquake, so that's GG. I should have just stayed in, knowing that I would be outpacing, but I must have just lost track of that in there somewhere. Alright, Primeape lead, very good for me. So what I always did on the Dunsparce switch-ins was throw an Aerial Ace to try to get a lead over the other Dunsparce, which technically I think works. Definitely don't go for that extra Fairy Wind afterwards. That's actually pretty bad, because they'll be up on energy. They're on a 3-turn cycle now, where we're on the 4-turn cycle. But I don't know. I did this for a while, and then I just kept doing it, because there's no way for me to win switch against a Dunsparce if I just switch into my Dunsparce after they have a lead. So, but it doesn't feel very good. I'll tell you that much. It really doesn't feel like I'm actually gaining much. So it is possible that Dunsparce is just a tough switch. They end up coming back in with Primeape, but I will make it. Luckily, Karate Chop just doesn't do that much damage overall. Very good energy move, but not as great at damaging. But we get a shield, which is all we're kind of going for. They end up in Miltank. I'm going to go for the energy ball and then a switch. Probably should have just switched. But at the end of the day, Jumpluff has enough HP here to where something like what's it called? Rage Fist is not really going to hurt us much. The second Rage Fist maybe, but we'll basically be gaining a shield's worth of energy. Knowing that I don't care too much about the Rage Fist. Now, against Annihilate, people do seem to be using, what's it called? Ice Punch. So that you do have to start getting scared of at some point. They come in with Primeape. Again, I probably should shield this, because it could be close combat, but my whole idea was, man, I really doubt they're throwing close combat here. Now, Rage Fist not going to do too much here. We do resist close combat. So, I again go for a lot of energy. And this is just bad timing here on my part. Something to, I mean, this happens. But, yeah, we should have remembered all the energy they got in the first matchup on the farm down. But that was something I definitely didn't think about. They end up shielding, which is very weird. And we go for this Aerial Ace, which is going to KO this for sure. And they, I mean, now at this point, I can probably just go Aerial Ace. I do have to be, so Body Slam probably doesn't KO, but it's close. And I didn't know if they could be at an Ice Beam or not, so GG. Alright, Marowak's very good lead. They end up switching into Jumpluff. I throw an Aerial Ace here. I could have just switched into Dunsparce here, to be honest, or even Lickilicky, just because it's taken so much damage. But I do have the super effective Rock Slide over here, so I decided to come back in with Dunsparce. This is an easier matchup to work with. Acrobatics, as we saw a lot in the last video. A lot of people still using Acrobatics, or starting to use Acrobatics. Just remember, I was the first. Now, this Acrobatics will KO, so if we want to maintain lead, we will have to shield here. Or, I didn't think I would live that, to be honest. Really good call in the moment by myself. I'm giving myself like a pat on the back from the past. They have almost nothing to gain here. Our Dunsparce is just so low HP. And again, Marowak's a very easy matchup for us. They do come into Clodsire, and I switched instantly. So this matchup's not the most amazing, but we can make sure that, or we can decide to make them, what am I saying? Let's pause it for a second. We can definitely go up to the Earthquake, make them think that we're throwing Earthquake, and we definitely don't want to throw the Shadow Ball if we're baiting the first time, because then we can still hit them with the good move later. Now, we do have to be worried about an Earthquake here, but this will probably end up being like a Sludge Bomb. Oh, Stone Edge, okay. I end up going for the bait again. I think this time they end up not calling it. Or calling the bait, I guess. Oh, no, they don't. Okay, now I can just go straight Shadow Ball here. Just trying to get the most amount of damage I can into this Clodsire. Switch timer is up on both sides, so definitely need to be looking out at where we're getting hit. It's an interesting call here for me to let Lickilicky go down. I know that I do have energy on this Jumpluff, but I don't think that an Energy Ball is going to KO from here, so this is why it's such a risky call here. But I can probably end up farming this down, and I think that, do we one-shot this? I'm not too sure. But we probably have to let this come through. I imagine Stone Edge, again, it's a non-Shadow Marowak, but I imagine Stone Edge from the Clodsire is the biggest move to worry about. And then I'm really hoping that this KOs. It doesn't. But I know that with my shield advantage, I can get to an Aerial Ace against the Clodsire since I've already hit it with an Energy Ball. So this will be GG. They can't get to 2 Stone Edges. Alright. Pretty good matchup here by me. We did have the advantage in 2 of the slots, but the third ended up being actually something really difficult for us. Alright, Cresselia. And they switch into Dragonair here, which I thought was weird because I'm hitting it with Fairy Wind and an Aerial Ace, which is going to get this basically to like 45%. And then it's I can make a decision later on whether or not I want to switch to something. And I end up switching into Lickilicky to catch this move. If they had tried to gone for CMP, which they did. And I'm going to try to just go for Farm Down. Again, I can take one more move here. The thing is, I cannot take another, which they might get to. It depends, though. If we KO in 3, no, we're not going to be able to. But I'll probably end up just shielding here, because if they do come back in with the Cresselia, I will throw Shadow Balls into it, which actually does about half. So it's actually pretty close. Or a really good move against Cresselia. Yeah, it just does so much more damage than I thought it would. But yeah, we make it to 2, and this ends up being really good. Cresselia is something that we saw move up in usage a lot in this cup. It took a little bit, but yeah, ended up seeing it quite a bit. Now, this will be Moonblast. We definitely survived this. Jumpluff is very bulky. They end up coming in. I did this multiple times. I remember this day, and I remember being frustrated with myself. I threw Energy Ball into artifacts multiple times. Their defense did drop. So I'm like, can I like farm this down? And think that I really can't. Even though this is doing super effective, Avalanche just doing a ton of damage. I guess if I decide to shield, I can. But I want to save my shield to give myself more attack possibilities onto them. Now, I am counting, so I thought this was a weird shield because I can definitely get to another move here, and they can't really get to a farm down without me getting to a move. And this is the whole reason I wanted to save the shield, because Cresselia is very... It's very hard for Cresselia to fast attack anything down, so with a shield advantage, I can definitely just throw my moves over and over because their moves are very long to get to. If they're going for Moonblast, I guess they could go for Grass Knot. Alright, Altaria lead, not the worst. They end up switching into Dunsparce. Again, I can just throw my move and then switch into my own Dunsparce and hope that that lead is enough. Again, you see, I don't have to go for the Fairy Wind anymore there. I thought that was a really bad idea in the previous game, so I decided to not do that anymore. But I'd still do the Chip and Dip. Now, we do have a little bit of a lead, so hopefully they're in 2 drill run range where we are not. But it is close for us to be in a 2 drill run range with the rollouts because of rollouts buff this season. Doing a little bit more damage in the neutral. Okay, I shield. I probably would have had it thrown right away if I wanted to not go for some sort of shield. But with that, I'm going to go for Rock Slide just in case they do want to switch back into the Altaria. I also know that this is actually pretty good for Altaria. And then I lose CMP here. Fine. I'll probably end up coming with Lickilicky. Oh, they probably won't get to a move, so I know that I can just farm this down for a lot of energy. If they do end up coming back in with... okay. Skeledirge, at least Lickilicky is very good against both of these Mon. We're going to be throwing super effective fast attacks into both. Body Slam going to be really good against... Well, it's going to be neutrally good against Altaria, and then we do still have... what's it called? Shadow Ball for the Skeledirge, which is going to be super effective. Again, Skeledirge did take an Aerial Ace, which is not nothing, so it is going to be a little bit lower than usual. If we think this is a Moonblast, I should shield. It ends up being a Sky Attack. The reasoning here, though, is that Skeledirge only has Disarming Voice to throw into Lickilicky, which is not a great move. At the end of the day, not going to be doing much damage. They end up switching. I tried to do some damage to them, but to be fair, they cannot fast attack Jumpluff down. And if they try to do something like that, that would be insane. I'm going to be able to get the shield here. And then it's, again, Disarming Voice is not a good move into Lickilicky, so yeah, and they end up throwing energy here, and I'll probably end up getting the farm down on this after they throw Disarming Voice at Lickilicky, and then throw whatever. You have to remember that the Altaria is very low, so yeah, they just give up, and that's GG. Now, I do think that we get this weird lag thing here, so I'm going to just fast forward to the move going through. Yeah, look, we're lagging in the charge move because they decided to leave the game. But, yeah, we get through it. Shadow Gyarados, again, I mentioned in a previous video, I think that this mon is fantastic. They do allow me to get to an Energy Ball here, and I'll probably just switch out into whatever after this. Yeah, because all 3 of our mon are pretty good against this, but if they're going to let me get to a move, I'm gonna go for it. And then Dunsparce ends up pulling out Diggersby. This is not a good matchup for me. Things that we should try to find out during the matchup, though, is do we think they have Fire Punch? Do we think they have Hyper Beam? So Fire Punch going to probably be a little worse for us just in general because they can just kind of pop off onto the Jumpluff. And I don't really want to bring Lickilicky into this. This is an odd move. Now, these are my games, but they're from like 3 days ago. Oh, no, 2 days ago, sorry. So they end up having a Ninetales here in the back, which is odd. But, you know, we have seen 2 of them on, so I think what I'm trying to do is just bait something out and do a little bit of damage to it. Again, we have a 2-turn move, and if you don't know, Ninetales has a 3-turn move. They're actually using Fire Spin, which was buffed this season. And again, Jumpluff is very bulky. You're not allowed to just go for some big farm down without repercussions, so we're going to end up getting a shield here. And then it's a question of, do I just bring in Dunsparce because I think they're going to throw right away, and I do think they're going to do that. So we're getting rid of a little bit of energy here, going to come back in, and now we know everything that they've got, And I do think that Shadow oh, it's not a Shadow. Regular Ninetales is going to be doing the most amount of damage. Diggersby at the end of the day is a Pokemon, so a lot of the damage that it does is not the most. And you got to remember, it is normal as well, so do not throw Shadow Ball into it. So we're just going to go for the Body Slam Spam. And they just switched into this, so no way to catch or anything like that. And this should be game. We'll actually probably end up being able to farm this down, to be honest. In this game, they still have 3 Mon, which is crazy, but we'll be able to farm everything down at this point. Alright, Gyarados, bye. And I never got to play Gyarados. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to stream today or not. Maybe I will. Because I won't be... This is my last video for Retro Cup. But I might be able to stream and maybe get you one more set of 5 to go through. Anyways, they have a Talonflame lead. Obviously, it's very bad for us. They stayed in, which I thought was odd. Then they switched in Artifax. I remember this game and thinking they are triple weak to Dunsparce, and which means they're probably weak to Lickilicky as well. And I really don't want to be using these shields if I don't have to. Plus, this is a fine enough matchup for Jumpluff to try to take out. The only thing is, are you going to hit with an Avalanche? Do I care? I already told myself they're triple weak to rock moves, so that's why I'm just allowing maybe an Avalanche to come through. This could be Brave Bird, so I'm going to go for the shield. And at this point, Talonflame's gone. This is useless. So it's a question of what do we think's in the back. Ends up being Abomasnow. And I decide I'm just going to go for double Shadow Ball. I already have so much energy, I might as well go for the big move. And I still have rollout as well. I am still throwing moves instead of going for some sort of farm down, because Lickilicky's so fast to get to his moves that I'm fine going for the farm down here and then hitting Talonflame with a Body Slam. But they get to the moves, but the Talonflame is super low. We've already hit it for so much fast attack damage, considering Rock is double super effective. So I'll just go for the Aerial Ace and that'll be enough. Rock is double super effective because of the flying and fire types, which Rock is super effective against both, which is why they've taken so much damage from rollout, which is crazy. But they were triple weak to Rock. Crazy call, crazy thing to do when you are in a Dunsparce meta. All right, they come in with a Jumpluff. I go for an Aerial Ace, and I have a ton of energy, and I can go for, or I can go into my Dunsparce. The only thing is, this is a flying type, or I'm sorry, this is a Shadow. If they do have Aerial Ace, or Acrobatics rather, they could go for double Acrobatics to KO us. So they end up throwing Energy Ball, but I'm not going to play around. I'm just going to get rid of this thing. And we have a decent amount of energy going back into this double matchup. Now, the crazy thing about double is you don't know what its third move's or what its second charge move's going to be. So I don't know if it's running Wild Charge. I don't know if it's running Payback. Most likely they're running Body Slam now. And they are running Payback, so it can do damage to Jumpluff. I end up just trying to get as much damage onto this as I can. It does seem like Lickilicky's going to be good in the back. It just from how they're playing, it feels like an AVB team, which means that, oh my god, it's running double. Stupid double. I did not mean to make that pun. It is running double nuke moves. All right, we figure this is just going to be a Psychic Fangs, so I'm going to let the first one go through. They have a 4-turn move, we have a 3-turn move, so if we can get there in 1, we should be throwing 1 and then go, as they have no chance to really get out of it. It's very possible, I end up actually throwing here on weird timing, but they're trying to go for like a farm down, so I'm like, I'll just take shields, that's fine, but I'm not going to be able to get to another move here. But it's fine. Technically, this is Psychic Fangs. I could let the first one go through, but I'm going to decide to double shield this. They are out of energy, so I get as much farm as I can onto the double. You see I didn't throw right away. I'm literally trying to get all the farm I can out of all of these matchups, because if I don't, I'm going to get screwed. But I'm double Psychic Fangs now, so it's possible I'm 3 confusions away, but I'm not 2 confusions away, and that's going to be enough for me to win this game. All right, Artifacts. It's a fine matchup at the end of the day. We have Aerial Ace to go for here. If I had something like Acrobatics, you would really be threatening a lot more. But I also have double rocks in the back, and this is Hakamo O. Very tough mon here for us. It would take... the only saving grace, I guess, is that they are throwing dragon moves and not fighting moves. So we are not getting... we're not going to get farmed down by super effective, but they can go for the easy brick break and then a farm down. Because it takes 3 moves to KO them, and a third move here is going to take 4 turns, and we're not going to make it. Are we? No, just enough to give a bit of hope and then not help. So I'll come back in with Jumpluff, farm this down. These moves aren't threatening. This is going to be Dragon Claw at the worst. So, and if they ended up throwing like a brick break, then I'll just shield whatever Hakamo or whatever Arctibax does. Now I have to make a call here, and I do decide to shield. Unfortunate, they do go for the bait, but they're almost within range of Aerial Ace at this point. So I throw another Aerial Ace to get a shield, then I switch into another mon that's super effective. Ends up being a Primate. Now, again, they have to go for close combat to KO me, so I usually try to make a call here, just because it's going to take super effective from Jumpluff, but they end up going for the close combat. I will say more often than not, just terrible. Bad timing here for me. I will say more often than not, they almost always went for the close combat. I cannot think of a time where they baited me, actually, so maybe I'm just wrong on that. I'm not going to make it. Yeah, tough. All right, Oranguru lead. Now, this lead's perfectly fine for us, but at some point, I would like to throw some of this damage onto one of my normal mon in the back line. But, and I also probably want to bait something out instead of just staying in this neutral matchup. So I think I'm going to throw and then switch. And then they stay in for a little bit. They're very close to being in drill run range here, so I really don't care about this move coming through. I was very surprised they went for the Trailblaze and then dipped here. I do remember that happening. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would have just gone for the more energy efficient move. And if I was going to throw Trailblaze, maybe I'm making a statement that I'm going to go all in against this Dunsparce. But it does do Solar Beam. All right. This doesn't KO. Do I think they have Shadow Ball Solar Beam? I personally do not. But we'll see what they end up throwing here. I think this ends up being the Shadow Ball, so they just have double nukes. Oh, Charge-a-Bug? That's pretty good for us. They also end up throwing here on bad timing, not accounting for the 1-turn switch in for them. And now we have the 3 turns into Body Slam spam. We actually have a ton of energy here, which I don't think they account for. I think I remember this game, actually. I think they end up going for energy efficiency and trying to do 2 volt switches every time, but we have an insane amount of energy. We're not allowing them to do good timing, and I will not allow them to do good timing here. So I end up catching here on Jumpluff because I'm pretty sure Jumpluff is useless at this point, so I just let it go. So I said this in my other video as well. Sometimes at the very high level, it's very obvious what people are going to try to do. So I end up just like playing this person for being an energy. You just know they're going for extreme energy advantage or efficiency. So like I know exactly how they're going to play. So it becomes very easy to play towards that. Yeah. He should have just thrown moves on bad timing, and maybe things would have been different. All right, Rangaroo here. They end up switching into Rangaroo. We switch into Dunsparce. I like this matchup. Again, this is a pretty neutral matchup. Usually they will go for Trailblaze and then a farm down, but I'm totally fine with that happening here as well. So, again, if they have a 4-turn move, they usually want to throw 2, but this guy ends up throwing right away, just trying to get that damage off, basically. And they will outpace if they want to KO us. Excuse me. All right. I mean, obviously, this will take us out for sure. But I'm going to try to get a farm down here with the Jumpluff. And even if I don't get a farm down, it's not too bad. Brutal Swing's not the worst move in the world, even buffed. one time. It just doesn't do that much. So I'm a huge advantage here on Jumpluff. They end up coming in with a Dunsparce, which is fine, but it is good against me. It's good against Lickilicky, I mean. Oh, man, I think I do remember this game, and I think I play horrifically, so don't don't call me out too much here, but I think I do remember this game. This game, I think, ends up going to, like, time, basically. I try to get a ton of energy here on the Lickilicky, just so that I know that I can throw into the Dunsparce, I guess. They are getting close to range for Body Slam, and I do have a lot of energy here. We'll see if they end up switching into... Nope, we get the Body Slam here going off against the Tropius. This is very close to the KO. Oh, it does end up KOing. Okay, but we do have to remember they do have a switch or a catch available. They're very low, I think, on the Oranguru. So I end up thinking my best Mon here is going to be Lickilicky, so I'm just going to take the damage here on Jumpluff and try to do as much damage as I can. Maybe get this into Body Slam range is kind of my goal. So they do end up shielding. And they throw on really good timing to kind of screw me over here. They're so far away from getting KO'd. Oh, there's no way I can win this game. Well, the one good thing is that we're not in range of getting KO'd by one move. And I should have waited a turn here. Yeah, I just played really terrible here. That's tough. Yeah, because now they get to the move. Ugh. And I think this will KO from here. Oh, it's close, though. Oh, wait. Oh, we lose CMP. It's even worse. I knew I lost this game, and I still thought I had a chance there at the end. All right. Dunsparce. Does Dunsparce normally lose CMP to Lickilicky? I feel like I've lost to every Lickilicky I've seen. Maybe it's IV dependent, and maybe my Lickilicky's like 0. IV. I don't know the IVs of my Lickilicky because it's been so long since I played. I still had Lick on it, so that's how long I've even looked at it. So you guys know how that is. All right, Oranguru matchup. We just saw this matchup, so it's kind of going the same way. They went for a Trailblaze. They go for a Shield, and then they go for the KO here. Now the one thing is that they are much higher HP than normal, so we'll have to. Oops, my phone's popping off. All right, that's on Do Not Disturb. So we're not going to get like a farm down or anything, but we can still go for a lot of farm in general, but we're not going to get infinite, which anything less than infinite is 0. No, we still get a lot of farm. We have a move still banked here, and they end up coming back in with the Dunsparce. They end up staying in this matchup. Now, this matchup's not great for Lickilicky. Dunsparce moves are just way better. Body Slam is nerfed this season, but they end up coming in with Cresselia, and we do have Shadow Ball, and we saw that basically did half. So I can end up doing a ton of damage to this Cresselia if I want to. Plus, I will live a move as well. Plus, I have 2 shields, and we already saw that being a shield advantage against Cresselia is insane against Cresselia, so it's almost as good as having a shield advantage against like a Azumarill, but Azumarill's way worse. Like Azumarill gets to its moves so slowly that if you outpace it, you're just so good. Now, I probably will use a shield here on, well, it'll depend. Well, this matchup's going to go for a little bit, so let's not call it too far ahead of time. But in my thinking is I probably would use a shield on Lickilicky, because they can throw super effective moves at Jumpluff. But we have to remember, I still have a move available on Jumpluff. I still have a shield. I think I'll live this, so I can get another Body Slam off here. Now I'm probably switching. I doubt they end up shielding this, since it's not in KO range. Which, to be fair, good on them. But I'm going to throw my moves here because I know I can get to 2 moves, whereas some of the time, you would go for just like a farm down. But again, I have a shield, and I know I'm going to get to 2 moves here, so that's what I'm going for. I think you live this. Jumpluff's very bulky, so I guess in the end we did go for a farm down. But it's good to try to call your win cons there or whatnot. So, all right, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Just do that right now. And yeah, Retro was very fun. Very interesting cup. I will say a lot of them on being used a lot. Dunsparce was everywhere. Jumpluff was in a lot of places. Oranguru was everywhere. Yeah, Oranguru, Jumpluff, kind of everywhere. And then it was kind of just pick your third or which order to put them in. But we did see some play with like Cresselia, Hakamo-O, the fighters came in, Primeape, Annihilape. So things did sort of move a little bit in this meta, so that's a good thing. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next meta, which I believe is all 3 metas. So we'll be coming out with a video for that. And yeah, thanks, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the last... Whoops. Oops, I didn't start the battles. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.